This is School Visions. We're going to talk about creating them, implementing them, assessing and seeing if they're working. I'm Katie Adams, and this is Developing Leaders. The date's a little off because of the whole power outage thing. Alright, so introduction. And you can see my sources at the bottom of each slide, and there's also a reference slide at the end. So a school vision, what is it? It's a necessity for a school. Every school needs one. If you either don't know your school vision or you know they have one but you can't remember it, it probably needs to be revisited and talked about a little more often. If your school doesn't have one, your administration needs to get on the ball. It allows for the school to articulate goals in an easy, singular way. It's just something easy that we can reference to, that talks about improvement, that talks about our goals. And everyone in the school community can remember easily. It does require a lot of planning. You need to involve your staff. We'll talk about the steps for planning later and what we need to do. The sun is killer. Sorry. And how staff can help us plan this. It needs to be regularly demonstrated, implemented, and assessed. So we're not just creating this vision one time, which is, as far as most schools go that I've been around, that's kind of what it is. The vision was created, and then we don't really ever talk or think about it again. And so it needs to be regularly brought back to. We need to regularly be reminding our staff, reminding our teachers, students, parents of this vision. And is it working? See if we are working towards those goals. It can be the foundation for an effective school. So having that vision is that bottom layer that we can build upon to make sure that our school is striving to meet those goals. So a vision statement would be created by several people, but for this project I went ahead and created a sample one that is kind of based on where my school is at right now. So this isn't my school's vision statement, this is just one that I created. Monticello Intermediate School has a vision to be held accountable to make learning safe, accessible, and positive for all our diverse students, and connect with our community and parents the importance of education to create a culture of lifelong learners. So it is a little bit lengthy, it could be shortened up, but I wanted to give an example of the parts that should or could go into a vision. So right here we have held accountable. Our school is held accountable. This involves staff, so when they're creating this and they see and they have helped to figure out that we're accountable for doing this, it makes them feel involved and makes them feel like they should be working towards this vision statement. Over here we have learning to make learning safe, accessible, and positive. So this is a part of our goals, because we'll talk about SIPs later, but the SIP for my school is having a more positive culture and environment at school. And it's also based on those learning theories. We know through Maslow's we need to make learning safe. We know having everything accessible on a level for every student is important. We know these things. These are research-based. They're not just out of nowhere. Next, we have the diversity of our students and our learners and their needs. We have the important stakeholders, community, and parents. We already have got teachers and admin up there. We know this is all about students. We've got everybody involved. And we've got our school's end goal to create a culture of lifelong learners. That's our goal here. It is a little bit vague. It could be more specific, but for this project, I wanted to do one that's a little more blanket statement so it would make sense. Alright, so I've got the vision statement here again. We're going to talk about what makes it meaningful. So first off, this is not just something that the principal creates. It's created together. We'll talk about the steps later. It takes careful planning. It does. It's not just me, let's say I'm an administrator, writing it and giving it to everyone. It doesn't work like that. It needs to involve all staff. It needs to be revisited regularly. We talked about that earlier. It's not just we see it and we're done with it, that's it. It can be changed. If it's not working or if we've met those goals, it's time for a change. And it serves to help create that learning community. It brings everyone together. That community is a really big key word in this. Okay, the importance of a school vision. So it shows where the school wants to be. Our goals are in the forefront. It's for teachers, admin, students, our parents to know what they are. It gives us something to stand upon. It keeps the values of the school central and shows where we want to be. So when we continue to talk about a vision, it's going to continue to come up in everybody's mind that's involved, and they're going to feel that connection and feel those values. And we'll talk about a research source later. It talks about how values spread. It gives us the purpose of education. So everybody kind of has a slightly different feel, and it's hard to agree upon what the purpose of just education in general is. Somebody might say that it's to watch kids while parents are at work, while somebody might say that it's to prepare students for the future. You know, everybody has a different purpose, but when we come together and create this vision, it gives a purpose for our school. And it gives us focus for where the school is going. It informs planning. It gives us something to tie our data to, so we're not just out there in a loop. We know, what we're working towards and what we're planning towards. And this kind of goes again with purpose of education. It characterizes the school to the rest of the world. So when somebody looks at their school, they're not able to come in and spend days, weeks, years getting to know us. They can tell a little bit about who we are just by looking at the vision. And I think that's really can say a lot for a school, especially for people in the community who maybe they have school choice and they're not sure where they want to go. Well, when you have a school vision that you can see working in the school, that's something really huge. So who should be involved and why? So I went ahead and just put up on the screen pretty much everybody that's connected to the school. Administrators, teachers, stakeholders, that's community or coaches or sponsors of anything, parents and students. So this is pretty much everyone. I mean, everybody's going to have a different role in the vision, sure. But I think that everybody should be involved in implementing it and helping it become a reality or be behind creating it. We know students and parents, which I'll talk about in a minute, are giving us the data for this. And we know teachers and administrators are, creating it, and other people in the community should be involved. So why? To understand the importance of the vision, and for it to succeed, everybody must be involved. All must be involved in implementing it. When we start having weak links, put it that way, dropping out, it's going to become less important, and the need and those goals are going to fade over time. So when everybody's invested, the more likely it is to succeed. So we need a strategy for involving all these people. So I'll go by each team. Administration, these are our leaders. They're bringing everyone together. They're using strategies to communicate well with everyone the vision. They're reminding of the vision. They're scheduling these meetings. They were there when it was created. They know where the school needs to be improved. And they're at the forefront of this vision. Teachers, again, they were involved in creating the vision. So they're involved in its development, the implementation, the data collection and assessment to see if it's working. They're involved in all of it. They're also pretty much they're going to have the most communication with students out of all school staff. So they need to be communicating this vision to students and explaining them in terms that students will understand and know what their goals are, because self-informed learning is really important, and it makes a really big difference when students know what they're working towards and know what their goals are, and when they meet it, it just makes it that much more magical. So next is community stakeholders. So they need to be made aware of this vision, and then when they help or when they're given means to help throughout the year, they know what it is, so they know on their terms what they can do to help us meet this vision. If it's our SIP for this year isn't parental involvement, so our stakeholders may do things or sponsor events that would bring parents in. If we're having an open house, they may provide food, let's say, so that we know more parents will come. Things like that, they can help in their own way. Parents. So our vision is we're going to look at parent data before we create it and throughout the implementation of it to make sure that parents see that it's working. So not only are we going to let them in on the vision and know what it is, we're going to show them that it is based off the data that they and students have given us. And then we also want to give them resources at home. How can they help this vision? What involvement can they have, etc. And students. We, of course, are going to base part of this on student data. So whether that be achievement data or climate culture data, we want to use it to create the vision and then make this vision a part of their daily school life, not just ours. It's not some secret that admin and teachers know. Everybody needs to be let in on it. And they can also be let in on the assessment. Show them, look, we grew. Like, that's exciting. And the more excited and involved we are, the more into it the students are going to be. So parent surveys and data. Parents have a different view of the school from staff. They're invested in it in a completely different way. Teachers are here to teach. Of course we want our students to grow. Of course we love education. We love our students. But we're also there to do a job. Parents are putting those students in your hands. And we can use these surveys to look at what parents want, what they need, what concerns they have, and that involves them in the vision planning so that we can use that data to see what is expected of the school from the community and create the vision. So I pulled up a sample survey, and I'll pull it up in a minute and we'll discuss it. But what happens if you send out this survey and you get a chunk of parents that don't do it? So you have the non-tech parents, they may not be able to. So if they are at the school or in the car line, run out an iPad real quick, help them through it, print off a paper survey, get them to do it at open house. If they're there with you and they're comfortable using their own device, just walk them through it. For hard to reach parents, those parents that aren't able to come to the phone or maybe get back to you in the email, everybody has those parents. I've found luck with sending things home to parents, but I know that a lot of times it doesn't come back. But I've found that if you can really communicate the importance of it with the student, that the student can make sure that it comes back. Or there's always making a house call or making a visit. Alright, so we're going to click on this survey. I did not create this survey, so I'm going to talk about what I like about it, what I don't like or would change about it. So it's 10 questions. 9 of them are short answer. That's one thing I don't like. I know when I'm filling out a survey, I like multiple choice or clicking options. I think this is maybe a lot for parents to fill out. So first, identify what you see as characteristics and attributes of a highly effective school. This is a really good question, but I think that the vocabulary is a little bit high. I don't mean that in a negative way. I just think it could have said what makes a good school and gotten the same theme across to parents. I feel like these are words we use in education. Name 3 strengths. Name 3 areas of improvement. Those are great. What do you expect the school to provide your child? Do you feel our district is preparing your child for a successful future? Why or why not? I really like number 6. Choose yes or no. Parents have adequate opportunities to participate in school policy and program development. And I think a second question that was just, parents have adequate opportunities to participate in school, period. Not just with the policy program, but just period. Do you feel you have enough involvement at the school? 7, over the past 3 years, that's good, it's getting backlog data. How would you characterize your overall attitude? I think an added question could be, what do you think your students' attitude is towards school? What can the district do to improve your opinion? What would a successful community look like, school community? And